Hello mathematicians, welcome back. I hope you had a nice weekend. Today we are going to continue talking about circles. And specifically we're looking at area. And if you recall from last week, we have our circle. We have the distance from the center to the edge that we call the radius. To find the area, first thing we ask ourselves is, what is the radius? Then we take the radius and we square it. So we do radius times radius. And then we multiply that r squared by pi. And we're going to be using 3.14 for pi again today. And that gives us the area of our circle, which is the space inside. But today we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're not going to do an entire full circle. So let's look at what we have. Example 1, here we have if you recall, a semicircle, which is half of a circle. And we want to find the area of it, so that's the space inside here. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to pretend that it's a full circle. Like so. And we're going to find the area of that full circle. So we're going to follow our steps. Step 1, what is the radius? In this case, they give it to us, it's 16. What is the radius squared? 16 times 16, that's 256. And then we multiply the radius squared, by pi. And that gives us 803.84 centimeters squared, but that's not the answer because that would be the area of the full circle. So because this is a semicircle, we have to take that answer and divide it by 2. And you can punch that into your calculator. That gives us 401 and 92 hundredths centimeters squared. So our answer is half of what would be the full area. Next example. Once again, we have a semicircle. I'm going to pretend that it is a full circle. But we're not finding the area of the full circle, we just want the area of this portion that I just shaded in. So our first question is, what is the radius? But this time they don't give us the radius. This 11 is going all the way across, so that's our diameter. So our diameter equals 11. To find our radius, we need to take this, divide it by 2. So our radius is 11 divided by 2, or 5.5. That's step 1. Step 2, we square our radius, multiply 5.5 by 5.5, which gives us 30 and 25 hundredths. And then our third step, we multiply that radius squared by pi, which gives us 94 and 985 thousandths feet squared. But that's not our answer because that would be the full circle. We only want the semicircle. This area here. We don't want the whole circle. So we need to take this answer and divide it by 2. Punch that into your calculator and we get 47 and 4925 feet square. Example 3. Ooh, here we don't have a semicircle, we have a quadrant. Once again, we're going to pretend it's a full circle. That's a terrible drawing, but you get the idea. And we're going to pretend that we're finding the full area. So, step 1, what is our radius? Our radius is 8 centimeters. Step 2, we square our radius. 8 times 8 is 64 centimeters squared. Step 3, we multiply that 64 by pi. And that gives us 296 hundredths centimeters squared. But because this is a quadrant, that is only 1/4 of the circle. So this time we're not going to divide by 2. We're going to take this answer and we're going to divide it by 4, which gives us 50 and 24 hundredths centimeters squared. So if it's a semicircle, divide by 2. If it's a quadrant, divide by 4. And this last example, the Pacman example. Once again, we're going to pretend it's a full circle. But we only want to find the area of the Pacman here. Let's give him an eye. Okay, so step 1, we're going to pretend it's a full circle. We identify what is the radius. The radius is 5 centimeters. Step 2, what is the radius squared? 25 centimeters squared. Step 3, multiply the radius squared by pi. Oops. The radius squared, multiply that by pi. And that yields 78.5 centimeters squared. So I'm going to use my bar model for this one. Help me see what's going on. My full area is 78.5, but I want to find 3/4 of it. Because if I divide my circle up into quarters, I have 1, 2, 3/4 of the full circle. So I want to find out what is 1/4. So I take this 78.5, divide it by 4, and that gives me 19.625. But then I want 3 of these, so I need to multiply this by 3. And that gives me 58.875 centimeters squared. And that would be 3/4 of the circle. Thank you very much. Go back and rewatch this video if you need to double check over anything, and I hope this made sense. Thank you.